Following portion of Daytime Tri-Cities is sponsored by Herndon, Coleman, Braiding, and McKee.
Well, it is not an easy discussion, but it is so important. This morning, we want to talk about the importance of a will and estate planning. We have legal expert Akiah Highsmith here with us from Herndon, Coleman, Braiding, and McKee to join us to talk more about this important topic. And it is kind of hard to talk about and start planning, estate planning and wills, but gosh, it's so important.
Absolutely. It definitely can be a difficult conversation to have, but it makes a huge difference for you and for your family and your loved ones.
And when you think of estate planning, I always think estate, that's such a big word, and a lot of people think, well, I don't have an estate. So let's kind of talk about what an estate planning actually means.
Sure. So really what we're talking about is distributing your property and your belongings to who you want to. So with estate planning, we're talking about wills, trusts, or other legal documents depending on each individual's personal needs.
And when you talk about a will, obviously that's very important for everybody.
Absolutely. Everyone really needs a will. That way they can determine who their heirs are, who's going to inherit from them, and what they'll inherit. In Tennessee, if you die without a will, the state actually determines who will inherit from you by statute. And so when you have a will, you have so much more control over that. You can decide if you want a family heirloom to go to a specific person and things like that. Or sometimes even people want to determine who will not inherit if they have an estranged family member. And another really important thing is you're taking these decisions and you're making them for your family. That way that can give a grieving family some peace of mind that they're doing what you wish to be done when you've passed.
And it sounds like too, when we're talking about a will and estate planning, there might be sort of some crossover. How are the two sort of different then?
Absolutely. So sometimes you want to do things that will cover you during your lifetime. With this, we're talking about powers of attorney or a living will. Normally what I recommend is that people get a durable power of attorney, a medical power of attorney, and a living will when they come in and get the will itself. So those documents will only go into place in certain situations. An example of that is if you're incapacitated in a car accident. The medical power of attorney will allow whoever you designate to make your medical care decisions for you, and then the durable power of attorney can allow that person to, say, file a lawsuit on your behalf or make transactions at a bank.
So certainly these are some very big decisions, a very heavy conversation, but like you said, so important to have it during a day when everything is just very calm so that you can really think about these important decisions.
Absolutely. So normally what we would do is you would come in, we would talk for about an hour and go over all of your options, see what's going to be best for you, best for your family, and what will help accomplish your desires. And then once we've done that, you could come back in about a week later. We should be able to get the documents ready in that amount of time just to review everything, sign them, make any changes or edits that are necessary, and then you've got pretty much everything you need to cover all the situations that you may have. It doesn't have to be done that quick. Sometimes we'll sit down and we'll talk about everything, and the people will say, you know, I really need to talk to my family and think on this, and it may be a couple of weeks before they say, okay, this is what I've decided I want to do, and then we'll finalize all of that and get you in.
Yeah, you need a little time to sort of let it settle in, I suppose, and think about the gravity of the decisions that you're making. Absolutely. Is there anything you can or can't do in a will?
So there's a long list. I won't go into everything, but I'll give you a few examples. One thing that you cannot do is avoid paying your debts by having a will. Any creditors will have priority when your will goes through probate. Okay. A couple of things that you can do with a will is, for example, determine who would care for any minor children you have if you were to pass, or you can establish a trust for them that could cover their medical care, educational needs, and sometimes you can even put strings on that where you don't want them to get that money until they're 18 or 25.
Yeah. Certainly such an important topic. Akiah, thank you so much for being here, talking with us a little bit.
Thank you for having me.
We'll give everybody the information. If this is a conversation you would like to have, you can contact their office right there at the number that's there on your screen. You can also check out the website for more information, lawyerfirm.com. They're located right here in downtown Johnson City.
The preceding portion of Daytime Tri-Cities was sponsored by Herndon, Coleman, Braiding, and McKee.